Good morning, everyone. This is Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today is Thursday. So, on Thursday, we do Happy Healthy Habits with Robin, Shimisu, and friends. And Robin's in the studio. Woo! How you doing this morning, Robin?
I'm doing great. Do you know, I think it's raining a little bit outside.
Oh, isn't that a blessing?
Yeah, anyway, I digress. Hello, Terry, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I want to give a shout out to Francine. She's on the road today. My partner, she is a tech diva and a real estate entrepreneur, and we just want to wish her well in her endeavors today. But we just want to say thank you so much for tuning in if you're here live or watching on the replay, because Robin always has some wonderful, beneficial things for us. If you don't have your health, you don't have your wealth. So I present to some and introduce to others Miss Robin Shimisu. Hey, Robin. What do you have for us today?
We have a guest today. Her name is Jill Weston, and she is a yoga nidra instructor. And I'm going to introduce her in just a little bit, but I thought I would just talk a little bit about meditation because that's what she does. She does yoga nidra, and to me, it's like having yoga meditation. So it's like having a guided meditation, but yet it's yoga. So anyway, she'll explain that a little bit, I'm sure, when we introduce her. But I found an article last night. It's called 10 Reasons Why Science Supports Meditation.
Ah.
And there's 10 really cool reasons, but the one I wanted to, besides stress, because we all know that meditation is really good for leaving stress and all that. But the one thing that I thought number 2 on this list was increased happiness. And remember, last week we talked to Betsy Smith and we had our happiness coach on.
We did.
We talked a lot about how important that, what she's doing to help people find their happiness. And so let me just read you a little bit from this article. Okay, so it says, happiness affects your whole life as well as those around you. Being happy doesn't happen naturally for a lot of people, but there are ways to increase your happiness, one of which is meditation. Studies on the effects of meditation have shown that the control of emotions through meditation results in positive feelings. The scientific aspect of this is in part of the brain responsible for these types of feelings called the left frontal cortex. Experiences increase in signaling more happy feelings, and to make things even better, it decreases the amount of negative feelings on the right side of the brain.
Okay.
So just meditation can just help all your aspects of your health, contributing to how happy you feel about pretty much everything. So I thought that was really pretty fun to hear about meditation.
I love anything that's going to contribute to my happiness plan, Robin. So now I know I definitely need to include meditation or more of it. Let's put it that way. Wow.
Me too. And all it really is carving out the 30 minutes or whatever you're going to do every day. And I'm just as guilty as anybody about not carving out that time. So I
on a regular basis, yeah. And the question is, does it really have to be 30 minutes? It can be as long as it takes you, maybe to write down 2 or 3 things or to even state 2 or 3 things that you're grateful for. And I know that, many of us do that every morning. You just wake up, thank you.
Writing in your journals yeah. So let me introduce Jill. Jill Weston is a yoga nidra instructor, and she teaches students, and she also teaches teachers. So she's gonna. In fact, hopefully I'm gonna take her yoga nidra teacher training.
Oh, nice.
Her. So she guides us in many forms of breathing and meditation techniques. And today we're going to learn more about how to calm your chaos. And so today her subject is she's going to share ways to manage your mind and move your body. And these tips will help with informed overload, time management, and business indecision.
I love it.
Yeah. With that, let's bring in Jill.
Good morning, everyone. How are you
Good
both?
morning.
Hi, Jill. Do
I'm
you want to add anything more about your background or who you are before you get started? Because I didn't elaborate on
oh, you
everything that you
Yes,
do.
such a in-depth resume.
you did great. I think a lot of people are maybe not necessarily interested, but curious to know, how did I start? Because I worked in prison for a long time. I worked in juvenile corrections, also trained horses. Now I teach meditation. I have a love for a lot of things, and the more I've developed my business, and as you guys have taught me in Biz Chicks and other people, figuring out your why, what's the theme of your life, and how does that show up in your business. So some people say, wait, you're teaching this meditation that's really, really easy, but you also used to train horses and then you worked for 30 years in prison. You just jump from thing to thing. And the common thread, number one, is I love to help people and be of service. I have always been calm in all of those states. So learning to use my body, learning to use my breath, probably meditating before I ever really knew what it was. My mom and dad curiously did expose me to meditation when I was really young, but I was so young I didn't stick with it. So as Terry said, we forget, we get busy. At 14 years old, was not in my mind, and I didn't feel like I really needed it. Therefore, I kind of said, well, thanks, mom and dad, whatever that was, I'm not doing that. I think I was born into this world a pretty calm and peaceful person for the most part, and that helps. So I think what I would like people to know is whatever it is that I do, I really love being of service, and I love showing people easy, accessible, affordable, doable practices. There's lots of things you can do, lots of things you can spend your time and money on. And my preference, even if I'm learning the science behind it for you, I'm taking a breathwork certification right now. There's lots of science to it.
Mhm.
It's designed, though, to be delivered in an easy way. Yoga Nidra has some very deep aspects of meditation, but as you both know, you've done it. I tell you, go grab a pillow, lay down, cover it with a blanket, and listen to me, and you're going to feel different in 45 minutes. So again, I what I love to do is make practices very accessible for people that will increase their happiness, Terry,
Yes.
increase their calm, and it's sometimes people think of meditation or mindfulness or any of these practices as being kind of fluffy, or it
Mhm.
means that you can't speak up for yourself, or it's not for them. And what I really encourage is check out all kinds of practices, especially in these times, especially for those of us, not especially, but in this context, those of us running a business. It's
Mhm.
really, really important to find something that works for you, that supports you. If you don't like it, don't do it. If it's too expensive, too time intensive, later today and pretty quickly, I'm going to show you two different activities that take less than 4 minutes that visibly will affect you.
Okay.
So that's, I
Wow.
think, what I'd like people to know.
Oh, I love that because your values definitely align with Biz Chicks. We do not like convoluted crap, and we don't believe in overcharging people for services.
Right,
So,
right.
and that's probably why we love you so much.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. So, for those of us who are not familiar with meditation, what would you say to us?
Sure. And I'm going to talk you through, again, in a language that people understand. Why do you even need these practices? To me, meditation and mindfulness, technically, scientifically, are different.
Mm-hmm.
For sake of today, what I tend to say is when you can pay attention to what's going on, you're going to be more successful. When you can pay attention to what's going on, you can be more thoughtful, you can be more clear. So again, that doesn't have to mean that aspect of, oh, world peace. But when you wake up and look at your to-do list, when you
Mm-hmm.
look down at your phone and it's either a bill collector calling about your business,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you've applied for that PPP loan that was interesting to apply for grants, you look at your phone, you look at an email, and you go, oh, you're already setting yourself up out of that happy state. And a lot of times, what we do is we're not clear what we're doing. So we take a step forward and we're talking to people, we're signing contracts, we're agreeing to things, we're creating products. For lack of a better word, we're really not in our right mind. We're not in our perfect mind. And then we wonder, how come that call didn't go well with Terry? Why didn't Robin buy from me again? So even now, just before we set up, I'm standing up, which is different because I've been sitting down part of the morning in my class. So my lighting is different. My setup is different. Terry was helping me with it. Before I started all of that, I stopped and I took a breath. The breath is partly magic, but also magic was that I was like, I'm about to do something that's a little unfamiliar. I usually set up this way. I'm choosing to do that differently. It's going to feel different. I'm going to feel different. So when the lighting didn't work or something fell off the pedestal or I had to adjust my camera, it wasn't a shock to my body. I was just like, yeah, because this is different. So that's a quick explanation of meditation will physiologically, meaning physically in your body, soothe your nervous system. Okay, so it's just like when we eat, sometimes we want sugar or we want salt or we just want a nice glass of water. As we take that in, it's like an exhale for our body. If we've been on our feet all day long and we can finally sit down and rest, if we notice, our body will exhale. But sometimes what we do, we're going, we drink the water, we eat the food we really love, we sit down on the couch, we turn on the TV. There's been no pause in between to notice our happiness or go, oh, my body feels some relief. So meditation, mindfulness are different, but any practice that you're slowing down and noticing. It's like a stoplight. Okay. So you're stopping at that stoplight, you're looking left, you're looking right. Hopefully, maybe you're checking to see if you have gas in the car. You're looking behind you to see if someone's there. You're going to look and see if someone's coming across the crosswalk. You're now going to be a more successful driver because you're not going to hit anybody. You're not going to run. You're prepared. So hopefully that is an explanation that makes sense as to kind of what mindfulness or meditation is and how it helps you. And then I'll launch into a little more of that as I lead into the topic.
I think that was extremely helpful.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Did you have anything you wanted to add, Robin?
No, it just reminds me how simple it is for Jill to just explain. Just at some point during the day, stop and just breathe. And I think it's just that reminder that it's like transitioning from working, turning on the TV to stop before you turn on the TV. So that was very helpful.
Good. And it's a little side note. I actually have an audio recording that I call Calm in the Car. Does not mean to be calm and meditate while you're driving, but the prompt is before you jump out of your car and run into the store, before you put on your mask and go here or there, before you go into your household, have that pause, and then you're not carrying that chaos and whatever it is into work, into your home, literally into your bed. Even if you want to enjoy TV more, I'm going to recommend you pause before you turn on that remote. What are you doing? So again, I'll talk more about specifically business practices today and that focus, but really anything that we do, you're going to enjoy your food differently. You're going to, if you say, oh, I'm going to go get in the bathtub and take a little time out, but you're running the water, you're grabbing things, you're telling the rest of your household, be quiet, I'm going to go take a bath and relax. And then you get in the water, it's too hot. All of the things that we sometimes use for self-care or in business for focus are more effective if we take that pause and do a little bit of breath work, which I'll show you.
Perfect.
Just slow it down. Oh my goodness.
Slow it down and notice. And that's the goal of, if we're ready, I'll launch into the subject of overcoming your overwhelm.
Okay, I think we're ready.
So again, this is geared a little bit more for business aspects, and I think everybody that's tuning in live or on the replay is probably a business person or thinking about it. There's a couple things going on for most people during this difficult time and other times, and that's information overload. What to do, how to do it. I mentioned, for example, the grants. When the grants first came out for businesses, in my mind, I said, nope, this is only going to be around for a couple weeks, a month. I have my financial padding. I'm not one to take out loans. I don't really want to do that. 2 months, 3 months. Now I'm going, okay, I am online. There's some income coming in, which is fine, but maybe I need to look at the grants. Well, every time I sat down to look, it's late at night, which is my prime time, but I've also had too much information in my brain already. I've been studying Zoom. I've been listening to BizChicks podcasts. I've been taking in so much information, both about COVID, how to run my business, personally, what's going on. I must have reread the grant information 5 or 6 times before I need to put it down because I'm not retaining anything.
Yes.
So there's so much in business aspects. I spent a lot of time watching and listening to other business members because I wasn't a big online presence. So at the end of the day, literally my glute muscle, my thighs, my back was hurting. I thought, what is that about? I was sitting for 4 to 5 hours, sometimes at a time, glued to that screen going, maybe this person has the answer. Oh, wait, let me listen over here. The number of people going live on Instagram, live on Facebook, sometimes to be helpful, but also people were jump starting, getting sales. And I was looking and I was listening. And then finally I thought, what am I learning? This isn't even, whatever this person is talking about isn't in my wheelhouse. But I got almost addicted to running after information, and some people call it chasing. So to wrap that up, information overload, what to do, how to do it, what is everybody else doing, what about this grant, what about this product, there's a new email system. Also, time management can overwhelm you. So again, the first 60 days of COVID, I think a lot of us, we used words like it's a little bit of a vacation. And we would use that word probably if we didn't know someone who was sick or had died from it. But it's, I don't have to do anything for 60 days. I don't have to do anything for a week. And that proved not to be true because it's still here. The time management with technical issues. Our viewers are going, wow, those 3 ladies are up there and they're just talking away. They don't know what it took, for example, to set up the lighting to, now the sun's coming in, it's shifting, and we have, earbuds in because of the sound. So tech issues can affect your time management and also distractions at home. I'm not as efficient as I used to be because there's stuff in my house to look at. So I might be working on a podcast or writing out my business plan, and I hear the dryer alarm go off, and I jump up and it's like, dryer alarm went off, go take out the clothes. If I was working in an office or at my studio, that wouldn't be there. Or many people I'm talking to, they're literally walking by their kitchen more often because they're in their home. So it's like, I'll stop and look to see. How many of us have stood in front of the refrigerator and we're holding the doors open? Maybe we're not even hungry, but we're overwhelmed. So it feels good to walk away from your paperwork, from your distribution list, from your emails, and go do something else. And we don't really know we're doing it. So if you don't have someone in your household, you might be standing there for 10 minutes with the refrigerator open in a kind of a not so helpful pause. That's kind of a, I'm just not present, and your body is telling you, you need to stand still. Well, wouldn't it be better to sit still or stand still and do some breath work rather than holding the refrigerator open because you're just done? So information overload, time management are issues. Also having to learn much more flexibility. So you go to do a Facebook Live, and Facebook Live has changed the platform, and you have to go grab another device. Your lighting doesn't work. Back to the loans and the grants that some people got. I think first it was 6 weeks, and now you have 8 weeks to spend the money. It might get forgiven. It might not. It might be a loan. It might be a grant. So even that flexibility of sometimes what we think is overnight is not. Do it this way, No, we think this way is better. Maybe for your business, every Wednesday you used to go to the post office to pick up a shipment or send something. Now you go on a Wednesday, your product, I ordered something to help me with tech, supposed to arrive in June, showed directly it was at the post office. I have a P.O. box, post office 3 times. We don't have it. Sorry. I call Apple, they ship it out again with no problem, use a different address. So that was in June. I went to the post office 2 days ago. The original product was there. It was 3 months. Okay.
Yes.
So again, the flexibility of things are not the way we want them to be, and you're having to
Mm-hmm.
be flexible around other people. The last one that I'll share, and these are not all necessarily issues that overwhelm, we talked a little bit about being stuck or kind of immobilized. So you
Mm-hmm.
get stuck in front of that refrigerator because I don't know which website to develop. I don't know which product to develop. There's all these people saying I should do all these things. And so you stand in front of the refrigerator with the door open, not even reaching in the refrigerator because it's just too much. And I can do that too. There's a couple things. There's a platform I'm trying to work on, and we're not hitting dead ends, and I just have to remember if I stay stuck in front of that refrigerator holding the doors, I'm not going to eat, and I'm also not going to turn around and get back to my work.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give you some practices again to address that overwhelm from information overload, a new way of looking at time management, trying to be more flexible and not ending up frozen in your business decisions.
Okay.
There's another little step before we do the practice, and I don't want this to go too long. Start by identifying what you need. So there might be 10,000 things that you need to ease your information overload to stay happy, Terry. just
Yes.
choose just choose one. Choose one thing, just change one thing. Go back to what has worked for you before. So COVID, yes, it's a different time. The social unrest, yes, it's a different time. What worked for you maybe 2 years ago? What has always worked for you with overwhelm or indecision? And conversely, it may sound oppositional, sometimes find something that's new or different. So, of course, I'm going to recommend breathing or meditation. Maybe for me, I don't necessarily enjoy jogging that much,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe for me, instead of walking, I try jogging for 5 minutes or 15 minutes because it's going to make my body feel different and it's going to tell my brain something different. The breathwork training that I'm doing, the trainer has us tell people, and we're sitting on the edge of our chair, where typically people say sit with your back against the chair, straight spine, have support from the back of the chair.
Mm-hmm.
He encouraged us to have people move to the front of the chair, put hands on knees. And I kept thinking, why wouldn't he want people
Support.
sitting with the back supported? What he says is your mind knows that that's different. So you're sitting forward, you're like, oh, I don't feel that normal support. Oh, I have to sit up a little bit. It
Mm-hmm.
engages your mindfulness
Ah,
because look at what both of you are doing right now.
yes.
You're moving, you're adjusting, and that sends energy through your body. So again, be curious about doing something different. Literally, I tell people sometimes brush your teeth with your left hand versus your right hand.
Uh-huh.
I'm standing up today for the presentation where I normally sit down. So whether it's some technical aspect of your business or maybe you rewrite the signature line of your email, change things up a little bit to address some of that overload. So again, start first with what do you even need? What is the most pressing issue? What do you feel most unhappy about or most stuck? And if you're not sure what that is, I suggest that you ask friends or family who know you and they're seeing these changes. So Terry might reach out for help and I might say, the last 3 times that I've talked to you or I've seen you on Zoom, you seem really fidgety or you seem really, really on focus or you seem really tired. And also your business peers, sometimes even your clients, if you feel safe, you can say to a client, I want to check in with you. How are things going? When you're receiving my emails, you're receiving my packages, when we're meeting up, how are things going? You don't have to say specifically, how am I doing? but
Mhm.
they will usually share. You know, Terry, usually you coach me a little differently. You're usually a little more on point. Or
Mhm.
Robin, you're especially helpful these days. Take that in, and you're going to hear how you're being affected by overwhelm, or you're going to hear how you're adapting. So it's getting kind of a snapshot and some information about where you're at with overwhelm by people who know you.
Mm.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
So we're talking about overcoming overwhelm. I'm going to pause in case there's questions or comments, and then we'll get to what people probably want is, okay, Jill, how do I overcome the overwhelm? But I'll pause for a moment. Any questions or comments? Okay. So again, once you've, and the reason I'm saying identify a little bit about what you need, I'm going to show you one breathing technique that's really, really good for balance.
Mm.
And then I'm going to show you another physical technique is when you need a little more energy. So the first one, we're going to inhale for 4 and then exhale for 4, and it's called ocean or whisper breath. So right now, if you're able to follow along, kind of just give like an exasperated sigh through your nose, kind of a, or even a, just when you're just, okay. So it's going to be a breath like that, but the mouth will be closed, and it's fairly simple. Your mouth is closed, and you're not breathing. The sound's not going to come through your nose. It's going to come through your throat, and it's going to be a little slower. So it's a cool, calm, collected breath,
Oh.
therefore the ocean or a whisper. And it will, mouth closed, it will sound like this. And I'm not sure if you're able to hear that over the microphone.
Yes, we
You
can.
can, okay. So it's just through the throat. Okay. Not necessarily we're relaxing, but we're sending a signal to our body to balance us out. So I'm going to count, we'll do 5 rounds of 4. Just follow along, it'll get a little bit easier. You're going to inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, and pause. And exhale, throat, 4, 3, 2, 1, with mouth closed. And again, that whisper sound, 1, 2, 3, 4, and relax your throat, 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue on, relaxing the shoulders down, and it's a pause. Continue on for 2 more rounds. You can open your eyes if you want to, or eyes closed, and think of like constricting a water hose or a fire hose. And then after your last round of breath, you're going to open your eyes, relax down. So in that 4-4 ocean breathing, again, we're sending a signal to our body. It's okay to relax. It's also okay to give me a little more energy. So it's based on what you need. It's not necessarily for relaxation. Most people, I think, will find that they tend to be more relaxed because that's what they need. And it's really just, not just, it's also, remember, standing in front of that refrigerator, instead of just standing there, if you find yourself stuck or immobilized in something, do this 4 inhales in, 4 exhales out, because it's giving your body something to do. You're not just standing there stuck and then you're stuck for 10 minutes. After the 4 inhales and the 4 exhales, your body, your mind, your brain's going to want to do something. So it's like waking us up because we've forgotten that we're standing there in front of the refrigerator. Does that make sense?
Wow. Yes,
And
it
Terry
does.
asked because I know you like simple.
I do. I
Okay.
really do. I like the
Okay.
analogy.
Okay.
So it sort of gets rid of the paralyzed state.
Yes. And it's coming again through the throat. It's not
Mhm.
because that's going to create something different in your body. It's an ocean or a whisper sound from your throat. And it's also creating, we've talked before about the vagus nerve. Again, that's a little scientific. You're basically telling your body you don't need to run away from anything. It's engaging that your vagus nerve to help you both calm a little and pay attention. Robin, you had a question?
it's interesting that you go through a breathing technique with meditation, because most meditation, when I do the guided meditation, people don't talk about how to breathe. They just tell you to breathe.
Yeah.
And they're going to tell you either close your mouth, open your mouth, whatever. I love this.
Yeah.
So it's
And that's
very,
why I said try something new. You could have practices like maybe you've always run and you always run with your mouth open or your mouth closed or to a certain gait or certain arm movement. You don't have to dive deep into the science, but during this time, it may be curious to find out a little more of what you're doing and why. Um, because sometimes we just follow practices and if they feel good, that's fine, but you might say, okay, I've tried this 20 times. I've tried to run different, or I've tried to check my emails differently, or I've tried a new business aspect, and you keep doing it, not realizing it is not working specifically for you. So I might see Terry doing something, I see Robin doing a certain practice or a certain way in business, and that may not work for me. Our lighting situation, Robin looks great. She has a simple table lamp.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be amazed. I have 3 professional lighting. It's because of the way I'm standing and what's around me. And so I just need to recognize that that's what it is. I don't need to keep going, well, what is Robin doing and how is she doing it? You do the best you can. Terry and I talked about people need to hear me. The light's not that great. Doesn't really matter. I'm not going to get my system in alert over it versus being focused to share what I need to share.
Exactly. Oh my goodness.
All right, so that's 4-4 ocean or whisper breathing. You can do that anytime during the day that you need to find your balance. So maybe you're sleepy, maybe you're revved up a little bit too much. Your body, if you do this breathing, your body will naturally come back to balance. Okay. The next one is something that I call shake it out, and I've done it before on camera. This is really good for kids and adults. If you have that 2 o'clock slump, 3 o'clock slump, it's okay to grab coffee. But if you've had your limit of coffee, for example, again, when you know you're overwhelmed, you know that you need something. Someone's saying to you, Robin, are you there? Robin, are you paying it? You're like, oh, I'm getting a signal. I'm drifting off.
Mm-hmm.
So with this one, I'm going to add a little feature of I want you to visualize your entire to-do list. So go ahead and do that now. See your entire to-do list for the day. Don't get into a panic though. Just you can actually take a look at it or imagine. And then I want you to pick one thing that's going to take you the most energy to take care of. So the one thing that when you think about it, you're like, oh, I don't want to do that. Or, oh, I think I'll do something else. The one thing, okay, do you have your one thing that's going to take the most energy to get done today? Okay. Now I want you to do shake it out with the breath. So I'm going to back up just a little bit. Start by shaking your right hand and just inhale, exhale naturally. Don't hold your breath. And shake your elbow, shake your whole shoulder. Keep doing that with your right, and then start with your left. And just shake it as fast or as slow as what works for you. Keep both shaking. If you're sitting, you can take your right foot and shake a little bit. If you're standing, be careful. Take your left foot, shake. I don't encourage shaking with the neck or the head because that can get a little crazy. You can shake a little faster and make sure that you're breathing. And then go ahead and slow down and stop. You can open your eyes. And now think again about the one thing on your to-do list that you're going to get done today. And does it feel any different to think about it? And Robin's nodding her head. Okay, Robin, what are you feeling or sensing?
so that is like a form of qigong, the
Mm-hmm.
getting your
Yeah,
energy.
moving the energy.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. And you can actually feel your energy, surging through your body, like
Mm-hmm.
it's surging through my arms,
Yeah.
because that's what I was working. And yeah, that's very powerful to get your energy moving and to just kind of wake yourself up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So again, you've been staring at those emails too long for all the people out there who are creative and you're saying, I can't write, I'm not able to paint, I can't put my product together. Terry does beautiful clothing and also masks. So You get done with that last mask design and you're like, nothing is coming to me, but I have to get this done. That's a really good one. And you can do it seated, you could do it standing, again, to get everything firing in your body. And you're literally like, you know what, overwhelmed, let's just go over here because I have all this energy, I have all this stuff going on, and I'm just going to nudge that overwhelm out of the way and take care of what I need to.
Beautiful.
So for a minute, or for
you know what I say until you feel a little difference.
Okay.
Now, obviously, there's going to be like this very edge of maybe a little, oh, what's the word? You might feel like a little tingling in your body. Don't go to the point, obviously, that you're going to pass out. That's not the point of this. So if you're starting to do this and you're like, okay, this is just making me more anxious, I'm not focusing at all, that's your answer. Stop doing that. If you're shaking for a while, like right now I'm shaking, but I'm also talking, so I'm not paying 100% to this. I'm not really feeling the effect, so I might shake faster and stop talking. That was natural for me. The minute I stopped talking, I added my breath to it. And so now I'm going to stop and I'm going to go, yeah, I feel some tingling. I feel, for me, that perfect balance. I'm a little quieter, slower person anyway. I don't need a lot. And I'm like, oh, yeah, my body's saying that's going to work. I'm ready now to get to work. So you can kind of self-analyze a little bit. Otherwise, you get stuck in, okay, has it been 5 minutes? Where's my watch? And again, you're not being mindful. You're more focused on, okay, 1 minute, 30 seconds, and then pretty soon you stop shaking, you stop breathing. The shake it out is out of a practice called dynamic mindfulness, and it means movement, mindfulness, and your breath. If you just shake, you're going to feel a little different, but you're likely holding your breath. And then when you get done, you're like, well, that didn't feel good because you've constricted everything. So you're shaking, you're breathing until you feel the change that you want. Okay. And again, you can do this before a phone call, during a Zoom session. It's not, depends on your protocol. It may not be polite to turn off your Zoom camera in some situations. A lot of people aren't on camera anyway. So during a Zoom session, even for a quick minute, if it's really important, turn your camera off, shake, do the 4-4 breathing, get up and walk around. Do it before you're checking your business bank account these days, before you work on social media or afterwards, reading emails. I mentioned TV, but even before you're listening to a business podcast, you're about to invest your time and your energy to learn something. If you show up and go, oh, I'm already so tired, my brain is full, I'm really hungry, I don't want to be here. Okay, I'm going to turn on the podcast. You're not listening to it. You're standing in front of the refrigerator. 45 minutes, an hour goes by, and you're like, what did I don't remember any. I took notes. I don't even remember what that is. So do it whenever you need to be mindful, designing a product, listening to a business podcast, an audio, taking in information or giving it out. You're going to be much more effective if you know what's going on with your body.
Wow.
In my opinion. And a little bit of experience, I will say. That's the other thing, is I've seen these practices work for people and work for me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sharing with you.
Wow. Well, I find that extremely helpful. Guys, if anyone's in the chat has a question, put it in over there. I want us to share where you can find Jill. Jill, I know you're doing podcast. Let me back up. Have you started the podcast?
The audio recordings were to launch this weekend. We did some beta testing, and emails are not getting to people. So the audio is sitting there. So we're going to keep working on that, but we're really, really close. I do have some businesses and studios that I've sold the entire recording to. So it's audio recordings that their employees can use. But the goal is to have a listening station, so to speak. So we're still working on that. But the audio recordings are done. And also people are giving me ideas for new things that they want in certain situations, which is fun. I'm doing some sleep stories for kids that are having trouble going to sleep and before they're getting on Zoom for school. So those are some fun, very short, 5-10 minutes or less recordings that I'm doing.
Those are beautiful. So are you on YouTube? Where can we find you? I know you're on Facebook.
Right now, so the recordings are sitting on a separate website.
Okay.
We had them live, but again, the link isn't working to get the audio recordings out there. So for right now, I'm not going to share the website only because if people go there, they can't access that.
Access. Yes.
But I am doing Zoom classes for 15-minute meditations and also the yoga nidra, and that
Okay.
can be found both on Facebook,
Okay.
Breathing Space. It's the one in Elk Grove, and then also my website is ourbreathingspace.com.
I just put that in the chat just now.
Thank you.
The
Thank
And
you.
website.
on Instagram, I try not to advertise classes so much versus giving some tips and some support on literally finding your breathing space. So if
Hmm.
people aren't looking for classes, the Instagram account may be of interest. Just again, small, simple, easy tips on there.
Okay, but if we wanted to sign up for classes, we should go to
The website, correct?
ourbreathingspace.com.
Yes.
All righty. I'll see you over there.
All
Uh,
right.
Aren't you doing something this Saturday?
This Saturday, I was just looking. It's debatable. We have an outdoor event plan called Summer Slowdown. We canceled last time because it was too hot. Now it's the fires. It's going to be out about 20 minutes from Elk Grove. And I just looked this morning. The air quality is still showing
mhm.
badly out there, although it's good here. So I'll make a decision in about 3 hours. And I may end up doing a meditation in the park here in Elk Grove if the weather's cooperating on
Wow.
Saturday. The goal again with the breath work and the goal for relaxation is I don't want people out in a smoky environment or even worried about that.
Mhm.
So
Well,
we
one of
will
the
see.
things people need to know is that your yoga nidra classes and your meditation that we have access to online with you is so perfect while we're sheltered in.
It really is.
I
It
mean,
really is.
it's just like, I mean, I miss coming in and seeing you and help you help and keep me awake and things like that. But it's still a really good way of enjoying yoga nidra and
Yeah.
meditation. It's through.
People, I think being at home, people really love the comfort of their own blankets, pillows. Maybe they want to lay in their bed, and then afterwards they can drift off to sleep or lay as long as they want to. And I make it really comfortable. If you don't want your camera on, that's fine. You can use headphones. You cannot. So I was a little hesitant because I've only done this live, so it goes back to try something new.
Mhm.
And people
Mhm.
gave me feedback. They were going into the yoga nidra state. I feel peaceful. I feel that kind of floating sensation. I stopped worrying about things. I was like, that's all I need to know. I need to not worry that it's over Zoom or online. My customers are giving me feedback that it's effective. So I kept doing it, or I keep doing it.
Well, Jill, I want you to know that in this environment, it's much it's very relaxing to be able to do this at home because if I'm in a studio now and anybody coughs, I'm going like this.
Exactly.
And I know that it's allergy season. And so some of these things have nothing to do with
Absolutely. Absolutely.
because sometimes I wake up with a little cough. So I don't have to freak out because I can do it on the Zoom
Yeah.
call. So
Yeah.
I strongly encourage you to keep.
Yeah.
I think, I'm imagining, I don't even want to say for sure anymore, but if when, we open, for me, I have a small studio, I have to make sure it's effective and people are comfortable coming in, but I could see myself continuing this. You also, you reach different time zones. And I would, again, going back to making this helpful for anybody in business, you can really stretch your reach to people to help or to sell products by being online. May not be your favorite thing. If you want to be of service, if you're interested in making money, if you're interested in your product and services being out there, there are definitely ways to do it online, and you just find a way that it's not overwhelming and that it works for you and it works for your customers.
There you go. I love it. I love it. The transition, changing the little things. Isn't that what you taught us today?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Robin, do you have anything else you want to share with us? We always enjoy your guests. Jill, we just want to thank you so much. Oh my gosh.
Welcome. You're
I
welcome.
always feel better after we after we have a couple of exercises. I
That's the
strongly
goal.
encourage everyone to contact Jill's our breathing space over there on the web and just try it out.
Yeah.
It can make a real difference in your business and in your day. Robin?
So thank you, Jill, so much. We are so blessed to have you with us every once in a while. Jill does a lot of traveling too, so she's got quite a busy schedule. But we really appreciate sharing and teaching us how to breathe. That was just so awesome. So thank you for that.
All right. So do we know who's coming next week or
Oh, I'm sorry. My calendar is over there.
quite
I
all right?
don't remember, but
No problem.
it'd be a fabulous guest. That's
Yeah, of
all.
course. We know that Robin will have something fabulous for us come next week. I want to remind you that tomorrow is Friday, so we'll be talking tech and English here on the Biz Chicks. And also, if you are interested in becoming a part of our community, we would like you to know that you can always join Biz Chicks by texting Biz to 33777. And we just would love to have you be part of our community. So, with that, we want to remind you to don't forget to go to the front of your own line. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.